It's me, Liz Yuille from Old Stables Craft. Welcome to another live. So let me just get back to the screen I need to be on. It's that one. So let me know when you've joined. Today, I'm going to be showing you basically one card, but it's more a question of how to use up scraps, because a number of you have been asking about the fact that you've got lots of scraps left and what do you do with them. So I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to be using 3 different papers from 3 different designer series paper packs. They're mostly gone now in Europe, but on the basis that we're using up scraps, let's use up scraps. And they're going to be quite different. So there's a traditional, there's a more contemporary, and there's in fact there's 2 that are sort of contemporary. One's, I suppose you could say, a modern traditional. Just checking that everything looks all right there, and it does. So, how are things? It's really cold here today. I came into my room earlier today, and I kid you not, it was 4 degrees. Not really a surprise, bearing in mind that overnight it was minus I do not know what. But it's cold. The frost, we had sun, and where the frost hasn't touched where the sun hasn't touched the ground, there is still frost. So, hello Deborah, all the way from Michigan. Currently it's meant to be, can I see it anywhere? Oh, a balmy 2 degrees. In my room it's about 8. I have got my heater on under the desk. Hello Shaz, how are you? Hope things with you and your daughter are improving. So it's been an interesting week for me because, I don't know if I mentioned it on Tuesday, I have been planning to do a bit of a reorganisation in my studio. And hello Joanna from Cambridge. Yes, it's very cold all over the UK. We have a cold weather warning across most of the UK. Now, for those of you who are in the northern states of the US and Canada, you'll be going cold, seriously. What you've got's cold, really. The only thing I would say is we're not used to it. We normally have damp, miserable, as opposed to crisp and cold. My fingers, I cannot tell you how cold my fingers are. Good morning, Sherry from... Oh, it's raining in Oregon. Okay. So we've got the cold and you've got the rain. Hey, and I'm having my eyes tested next week because I am sick of doing this all the time. So who knows what's going to be happening. Hello, Barbara from North Carolina. Sunny and cold. Yep, it's pretty much what we're doing. I spy a new unit. Yes, there is a new unit over my right shoulder. That new unit is part of my reorganisation. I have to say I'm really pleased with how it's gone in. It took me a while to sort out getting the stamps in because they're quite deep shelves and I didn't want them all the way to the back, so there's all sorts of things behind them that are just bringing them to the front. However, in the process, and I don't know how I did it other than it wasn't with a knife, I've sliced the side of my little finger off. I only realised what had happened, bearing in mind it has been so cold, I had cold fingers, couldn't feel a lot. I only realised what had happened when there was blood on the white, and then I realised what had happened. So I have got it stuck together. Doesn't look too bad, I hope, on camera. It's just I've sliced it. So yes, it's going to take a while to heal. Don't even get me started on what it feels like when I wash my hands and then when I try to take my nail varnish off. Hello, Minda from Honolulu. Breezy and cool at 5 a.m. I think that's probably lovely. Yes, it is quite nasty, Shaz. It's not as bad as it was. It's getting there. But I did it on Tuesday. So it's still quite sensitive. Anyway, I'm going to flip the camera down. My desk looks like a bomb has landed on it, but it's kind of, that's really where we've got to start. And I'm going to talk you through how I'm making the cards, and I'm not using measurements other than I'm starting with my basic sizes, but I'm not measuring as such. So this is so that we cover the whole of Stamping Up world. Hello B, just back from your WI Christmas lunch. How lovely. We're not having one this year, but never mind. Anyway, let me flip the camera down. My eyesight is appalling. There we go. I don't think it's helped by the fact it's been so bright here today. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. So I've got my trimmer. I've got some scraps of, this is the Boughs of Holly paper. Can't decide whether I'm using this or this. I was going to use this, and I'm sort of tempted to use, I suppose I could mix them, no, not mix and match. Actually, I'm using Garden Green as, no I'm not, I'm using Cherry Cobbler as my green. So, I'm going to go with the poinsettias. Oh, we had our Flower Club Christmas event on Tuesday evening. And poinsettias, which certainly in the UK are relatively inexpensive to buy, we were told about using them as flowers. And apparently you need to give them the boiling water treatment so that they don't collapse. So basically you cut the bit that you want, you pour about 1.5 inches, 2 inches of boiling water into a mug, you pop the end of your poinsettia stem in it, and when all the bubbles come out, you put it in cool water. So when the bubbles have stopped, 20-30 seconds, and then you can use it as a cut flower. Oh! Anyway, I don't like poinsettias. Hello, Kay. Right, so I've cut these because I hadn't actually got scraps that were the right scrappy for this. So I've cut these at 1 inch wide. Yes, and they are just a 12-inch strip, but they were off a piece that was about 3.5 inches wide. So I feel I can use them. I will need my trimmer back, and I need to shut the drawer of that. I've got my usual 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, although I think I'm going to cut it. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it that size, and then I'm going to use coloured card for my cards. So I'm going to prep that while I think about it. So this is Cherry Cobbler. So I'm going to, actually no, I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to come in at 10.5 and score. That's 10.5 centimetres. So basically I'm scoring in half and cutting in half. So this is 14.9 centimetres. So if you're in North America, you're looking at your usual size, 5.25 by, hang on, 4.25 by 5.5 base. So there is my card base, and this is the layer that I'm then going to put on top. I've also got some vellum. I have got more of the vellum scraps, and my plan is that I'm going to have a piece of vellum in the middle of my card, and I'm tempted just to hack that, although I've got my mini chopper, so I may use that. So I want a piece of vellum that goes in the middle that's going to be about that big. It's, as I say, this is not going to be measured. This is going to be done by eye, because when you're using scraps, frankly, that's the best way to do it. And if I show you how to do it by eye, then you should be able to adjust it to what you've got left in the way of scraps. And I think at the moment, it feels really odd having that cabinet there. At the moment, with things as they are, I think using up scraps is kind of a way to go. So, I don't know why I put that on there. So this is going to go in the middle. It's going to be covered right up to the edge. I'm going to have the strips, but they're not going to go all the way. So I'm going to start by, so this is 1 inch wide. I'm going to bring it all the way across. In fact, I'm going to, no, I can do it that way. Can do it that way because I'm going to use both sides of the paper. So I'm going to line it up to the edge, pencil. I'm going to get another piece because I'm going to need more than one, and that is going to go there. So again, it's against, in fact, let's go there. It's against the edge. And then I want a bit of a margin between the end of this piece and the beginning of this. So I'm just going to mark there. And then on this piece, again, I'm going to want a bit of a margin. So it's going to be about there. So I'm going to mark there. So those are the lengths that I'm going to be using. So let me chop this. So I've got my pencil mark. And I'm actually going to chop so that the pencil mark drops off. So that's one piece. I'm going to turn so that I haven't got the pencil mark. And I'm going to cut another piece of the same length. So let's pop that there, line the ends up like that. Bring the cut edge to the edge of my chopper. Obviously you can do this with your trimmer as well. And then I need this piece. Oh, and as if by magic, this piece is longer than the piece that I need. Yay! So I'm going to pop my scrap, my real scrap, over my other piece. And I will be doing this a number of times, so there's time to kind of absorb what I'm doing. Hey, and I've got to make sure it works. Because I haven't actually done this. I've had it in my head while I've been sorting out my room. I cannot tell you the amount of toot that I have collected over the years that I just do not need. So that's going to go there. That's going to go there. I was panicking there for a moment. So that's going to go all the way to the edge. That's going to go there. This is going to go there. And I may have to do some trimming. Yes, I am going to have to do some more trimming. And then this is going to go there. So why are these different? They should be the same. Because they're the same pieces. Oh, they're not. That's right. Right, so I've actually got to trim a little bit off my short pieces. Not a huge amount, just a little. So I didn't make them short enough. So I'm just going to take kind of 1/8 of an inch. Or thereabouts. They happen to be 2 3/4 inches. But, you know, hey ho. Right, so hopefully these will now work. So I've got that piece, and that piece. And the reason I'm not yet sticking them down is because I want to be able to get my piece of vellum in. Whew, just large enough. Which would have been annoying, bearing in mind I had actually cut it down. Right, okay, so I need that to go kind of there. Yep. So I'm going to put a little bead of liquid glue on the long edges. Note to self, make it bigger next time. So, bead of glue. And then this needs to go about there. And because it's liquid, I have still got wiggle room. So that's going to be fine, that's going to cover. That's going to be fine, that's going to cover. So we're going to be good to go. Right, so those are my pieces there. Then I'm going to add my long pieces. And again, I'm going to use liquid adhesive, so I've got wiggle room. So if everything goes according to plan, I'm singing in a carol service on Saturday. We do this every year down in West London. There's a group of us. We used to be part of the same light opera company. And by opera, I mean musical theatre. But now we're not. But we all get together once a year to sing carols at a an old people's home, which has the most amazing chapel in it, which is where we sing. So yes, assuming things go according to plan, and by that I mean we don't end up with 5 foot of snow or, you know, other extremists, or dare I say, I have a horrible feeling I'm getting a cold, not COVID, a cold. And I say that because I tested this morning just in case, because I'm not going to take COVID to an old people's home. Thank you very much. So that's that. Now there will be a very slight line where the bits don't overlap, but you know, it's fine. So there's going to be, you can see the edge of the vellum just there. It's fine. No one's going to know but me and you and anyone else who watches this video. So this then goes into this corner. My legs are beginning to feel like Tom Brown. I might have to turn the heater off. That's that. Gosh, you're all being terribly quiet. Are you watching intently? Or have you all got bored and gone away? Oh no, there's 20 of you and 1 like. Gosh, a like already. Thank you, whomever did that. And then that slides into that corner, like that. And as I say, if you're being really picky, and I mean really picky, you can see the edge of the vellum, but we are going to do something to help disguise that a little. So that's what we've got. That's then going to go onto the front of our card, like that. So you will see where the edges of the white are. And then to disguise it, I have already fussy cut, you'll be delighted to hear, another piece of the paper, and that's going to go there. And this is what I'm going to use as disguise, purely so that it draws attention. Oh, so we've now gone up to 5 likes and down to 15 people watching. Hey ho, never mind. Oh, right, so bit of housekeeping, just in case you don't know me. I am Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK, working across the UK, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium, and the Republic of Ireland. It is my job. I get to play with this all day. How amazing is that? So yes, this is what I get to do. It's so fun. It's not fun when I slice the edge off my finger, but other than that, it's fun. Now I am using quite a lot of dimensionals, purely because it's paper. But question, when you're using the liquid glue, I see you bend the cardstock while applying to the... Why is that? Do I bend the card while I'm applying? I will keep my eye open and because I will be doing it again, and let's see, because I hadn't realised I did. But I will watch myself on the next card. I think the answer to your question is because I do. Habit. But I'll have a look. Ooh, how odd. Didn't know I did that. Can't decide which way up to have it. Let's go that way. So I'm going to pop that in the middle. Now you could use a sentiment, but I'm using up scraps. And I'm also trying very hard to avoid using anything that's retired other than paper, because this isn't specifically to do with paper. This is to do with scraps. I know the boughs of holly paper has gone. Do you mean like this? So I do this so that I can line up these corners. So I don't, it's not so much that I'm bending it, I'm just putting one end down first. Oh, I love that. Shaz. Hello, Nora. Sorry, that's more energy than a Duracell bunny. Oh, would that I did. I do a good act, though. So that's my first basic card. I will probably come back and put some embellishment on it. Because, you know. But I'm going to do a card and then come back at the end and make them really pretty. Or maybe. So that's our first card. So as I say, there is a line there where the vellum runs out, but I'm not worried, really. I should be, probably. Can't find my mouse. Where's my mouse gone? This is why I say I need my glasses, my eye testing. Thank you, Joanna. Glad you like it. So yes, and I deliberately didn't make you watch me fussy cut. I have got a second one using the boughs of holly if we get through this quickly, but I don't think we're going to. My next one, and I am going to show you, do fussy cutting for this. This is from the gnome paper. So I'm going to go Pacific Point for my card base. So let's grab my trimmer. This is why I say contemporary. So again, I'm going to be going... Oh, actually, I might go short. I might go long and thin for this, because that will be... Yeah, I'm going to go long thin. Right, so I'm going to score this way. Score in half, cut in half. And grab another white card base, and this is not actually going to be big enough, so I'm going to grab a different piece of vellum, and actually this time I'm wondering if that's going to be too much behind there. Might be too much. I'm going to see. So I am going to fussy cut this. Helps if I can find my scissors. So, Carol, did that answer your question about bending the card? Otherwise, I will watch again when I'm doing it next time. But if that was what you were referring to, it's really just so that I can line up the corners. Cut this a little bit fine round his tail, but never mind. Her tail, probably. So this is from the gnome paper. This has got the trees on the back. I'm definitely going to have to turn my heater off. I thought turning it down would do, but I'm not sure. So, turning the paper more than the scissors makes it easier. To fussy cut. Okay, I'll watch again then, Carol, if it's a bit different, if that's not quite what you meant. I'm intrigued. It's obviously something I do without thinking. So yes, so I'm going to hopefully be singing in a carol service. I am going to be COVID testing between now and then. And if this is a cold, then I might have to drop out anyway, because I have a sneaking suspicion that anyone who catches a cold this year is going to be quite unwell, because I don't know about anybody else, I've not had a cold for 3 years. So my resistance to an ordinary common cold is going to be somewhat reduced. There has to be something that is good out of lockdown, and not having a cold strikes me as being a vaguely good thing. It's sadly, I think, why all these kids, bless them, are getting strep A really badly. I hadn't realised that strep A could lead to scarlet fever. I hadn't realised that they were the same thing, having had scarlet fever as a child before antibiotics were really a thing. I had sulphur drugs. I was about 18 months, no, we were at Treetops. Must have been about 2.5. My brother very kindly brought it home from primary school, and I was in hospital for I think about a week or 10 days. I was really quite unwell with it, so I do feel for these poor kids. And even now it's a notifiable disease, and I remember my parents telling me, well, obviously not when I was 2.5, telling me that they had to send their library books back to be fumigated. And there was a notice on the front door saying more or less plague, enter at your own risk. Fun. Now you're all getting gripped. Right, okay, so we've got our little deer. Now this is going to be quite jarring because I am going to use both sides, but I'm just going to live with it. So what I am going to do is not be stupid. I'm going to measure off what I've already got, because these work. So having done one, I can do others. So I'm going to use this side, obviously. I say obviously. The reason I'm saying obviously is because my card's going to be like this, and I don't want these trees to be growing sideways. Just saying. Don't think sideways growing trees would be a good idea. So let's turn that over. Mark there. Right, so I've now got my 2 pieces to use as measures. So let's cut 1 and line that up. And I'm using the other side of this piece, so I'm not worried about the pencil mark specifically. So those are those 2 pieces. And then I need to find that mark, which I can actually put this piece behind. And I will talk through how I did that again in a moment. If I can find, there it is, the pencil mark. Right, so what I'm doing in my head is putting one piece down and then popping another piece next to it with a gap so that I can then mark how long I want the other piece to be, so that there is a similar sized gap. And then I'll repeat the same thing again with the long side and the short side. Yep. Hopefully that makes sense. Right, so I wanted to grab that and see whether it's going to look too much with the deer. So I'm just fitting this dry. Now this is a very much more obvious pattern, so I am going to cover the whole of my card base layer with the vellum if I use the vellum. So that's roughly where we are, and then we're going to have the deer in the middle. Now I think that will work. I think I'm pink, therefore I'm spam. Hello, Tina. So I'm going to add just around the sides liquid adhesive. I'm fixated about this bend now. Now I'm bending this purely because I'm holding it, and then lining that up, pressing it down, turn it over, press from the back. Move it a little bit. Obviously didn't cut the vellum terribly square, but it's fine, we can sort that out. So I'm just going to trim the vellum from the back. And as I say, the only reason I'm covering the whole of the card front with the vellum is because this is a very much bolder pattern, so I can't rely on the edge not being visible. Oh, Joanna, yes, I love this as well. I may have quite a lot of it. Don't know if I'm going to be able to use it all up, but hey, if I don't use it all up, it will go into my bog off, which I'm a long way from getting finalised, but it is in my head. Right. That's not square. That's better. Yep, that feels better. So I'm just feeling the edge of the card to see if I got all of the vellum off that was overhanging. So these are going to be long, so I'm going to be doing the back. Is this it? So if it's this, where I'm bending it slightly, I think it's just the way I hold it. Did your brother go to Miss Maycott's? Yes, he did. Northwood Nursery School. Hated that. It was my idea of hell on earth. But yes, he did. As indeed did I. And didn't you? You went there as well, Bea, didn't you? Hello, Tina from Maryland. I see you bend your working, as you're working the DSP vellum into the corners. Yes, so that's basically what I'm doing, is I'm pushing it into the corners. I think that's just because, let's have a look. So I'm holding this, I'm popping it there, I'm holding this up rather than necessarily bending it. And then, yes, I bend there. And that's so that I can slide it. I just find it easier to slide it when it's bent. I think it's just me doing it the way that I find it easier. So not for any particularly good reason. Just because it's the way I do it. So I wouldn't, yeah, I don't think it's deliberate, I think is what I'm saying. So I'm holding it off. I'm popping it on there, and when I do bend it, quite often that's so that it's the top is a shorter distance, because that's going further. So it sort of for my head, it makes it feel as if it's going to be flatter. I don't know. Okay, so that's it. Right, it's just me. It's just how I do it. It's not for a particular purpose. It's just the way my brain is working. Or not. Actually, that needs to go that way. So holding it up, popping it down. And then if I need to move it, yes, I am bending it. And that's because it helps move it. Yeah. Yeah. In my brain, that helps move it. It's less of an issue on vellum because it's going to take longer to dry. Right, okay, so from your crafty Christmas lunch, Pam. Ooh, so you bend to help slide the paper. Yes, that's what I think. That's how my brain is telling me what I'm doing. Yes, I don't know that it necessarily does help slide the paper, but my brain is telling me that it's going to help slide the paper. So I wouldn't necessarily take it as gospel, but right, okay, so I need some mini, because that's got some bits on. I need mini glue dots because I need a bit of edge for the little legs. Oh, I've got glue falling everywhere. So these are my, in inverted commas, sticky scissors, because I use them for adhesive things. So I'm just cutting from the edge of the mini dimensionals a strip, because they're jolly useful for things like legs. Tell you one thing for certain, even though it's only a small plaster on my little finger, It's debilitating. So did you have a nice... So 2 of you have been to Christmas lunches. Bea and Pam, were they nice? Have you had your first Christmas dinner? As in, you know, turkey and the trimmings. So for those of you certainly in the US, we have turkey on Christmas because we don't do Thanksgiving. We do Harvest Festival, don't get me wrong, we do that. Oh, my hands are so dry. I've just seen the cracking of my skin. Not helped by the fact I'm reorganising my room. So I've managed to avoid turkey so far. It is a long time ago, Bea, that we were at Maycock's. Good grief. 60 years ago. Nearly. Can't believe it. Certainly for me. I went when I was 4, so just under 60 years ago. Frightening. Really frightening. Where does the time go? Cannot believe it. We have on Sunday this week our Village Lunch Club Christmas meal, which will be classic Christmas. Oh, right, so that's just going to pop there. It's not the best vellum to have behind, but it works. Ish. Oh, sorry. Going to blow my nose. It's a bit runny. As in, I'm cold. Not I've got a cold. I hope I haven't, but it's cold. Right. Okay, so let's fold. Oh, that's where it should be. So fold my card base. What have you changed in your room to make things easier? As yet, nothing, Shaz, because the main problem was I was running out of space. Ironically, that's mostly because I had a whole load of stuff, of retired stuff in here. Hadn't realised that was the problem. Because I'm supposed to be sorting it out so it goes into bigger boxes so I can put it in the garage, which is behind my room, so that I can then photograph it and sell it. But I'm alphabetizing it. Well, I have alphabetized it. By the time I had cleared out all of the empty boxes that I'm going to be putting things in and moved the retired stuff that is in small boxes that are overflowing, I don't think I needed the extra cabinet. But I will be moving some things around. So I've got my ink pads here and they're going to go back over there, which is where they started their life. And I think that's where they need to be again. But mostly it's to make space. So there's the card. What is a crafty Christmas lunch? Ooh, Pam, that's a question for you. You've saved the turkey for Christmas Day, Pam. Good. So it was chicken. Okay. Where do you sell? I'm going to be doing... I'm going to be probably doing it through a Facebook group, but I can only sell within the European market because I'm a demo. It was turkey and lovely. Good, Bea. I'm really pleased. So yes, so there's our second card. Where's the first one gone there? I am going to do liners. I know, frightening. Right, so the last one, I'm using green, and I'm going to be going long and thin again. Don't need that there. So yes, Pamato, you need to explain what a crafty Christmas lunch was. I know, but you need to explain it. At least I say I know. I think I know. So, scoring in half. cutting in half. No. It's not a UK thing. It's a Pan specific thing, Tina. So this is garden green because I'm going to be using the candy cane paper. I've got various little bits. I've got 2 candy canes, which I am going to fussy cut. Not difficult. It's a little group of 4 who have crafted each month following the closure of your WI. Oh, how lovely. Is an inverted comma the same as an apostrophe? Yes, it is. An inverted comma is the same as, well, yes. It's certainly the same character. So I'm just fussy cutting these 2 candy canes, which were just 2 candy canes that I had left on a strip of otherwise completely useless paper. So these are really easy to cut. There is a die, so if you've got the dies, you can use the dies, but we're using scraps, so I am working on the premise that we're doing, you know, we're just getting our scraps and we're going to see what we can make out of them. So this one I'm not going to use vellum, and I am going to abut my pieces of paper. So this is going to be slightly different. See, Pam, we don't do papercraft at RWI. They don't think of paper and craft in the same sentence. They think of sewing. They don't even think of knitting and crochet, but they have a craft group who only ever sew. And I do know one of the reasons is because the lady who started the craft group is a patchwork quilter more than patchwork. So I do get where that's come from, and I suppose what I should do is actually start a paper craft group with the WI, and we could do paper crafting. You never know. It might take off. It might become a thing. It might not. And I'm not convinced I have the time, but I might have to think about it. So, you enjoyed, yeah, I like turkey, so I'm very happy. Oh, I don't want to screw that up. I'm very happy to have turkey more than once. Mostly. I'm quite particular about the turkey that I have. I like my turkey to be turkey. Right, I'm only using white for this one because I want a piece of card. It'll make sense, I think, maybe. I think, is that going to be big enough? Yes. Right. I think I'm going to go green with red in the middle. Although I could go... No, I'm going to go green with red in the middle. I've made a decision. That's what I'm doing. So, these ones I'm going to cut to size, and I am going to be abutting my... Your group did all crafts. Yeah, our group, as I say, doesn't. So I'm going to cut this at 1 inch again. And I'm only using 1 inch because it's a kind of easy measurement. You know, if you want to do 2 centimetres or 2.5 centimetres or whatever, you can. So 1 inch. I do love that our trimmer has measurements on this side as well. That really is scrap. Right, so I need to cut this. Right, so 5 and 5. Oh, let's just go there. 4 3/4. It'll be amply big enough. Amply. Is that right? Nothing is more fun than crafting times with great ladies. Absolutely right, Tina. So, glue. So I'm going to pop this in the middle. Oh, we're back up to 21 people. Woohoo! Welcome if you're joining late. So if you are watching on replay, and I should have said this at the beginning, but I got distracted, you can always ask questions in the comments area below the description bar, if you wish, and I will get back to you. I've done I did a quick catch up yesterday. So these are going to abut. So I want to turn them over to start with because I want to put my pencil marks on the other side. So, in fact, no, my brain was going somewhere and I was wrong. So I'm going to cut them a little long, purely so that I can then trim back, which will make sense when I show you. Right, so these two are going to be cut that length, these two are going to be cut that length. So there will be no white margin this time. So, you've just broken your scoring blade. Oh no! How do you get a new one? If you know when you ordered it, then you may be able to get one from demo support. But apparently they need you to be able to tell you when they need you to tell them when you ordered it. Don't understand why that's a thing, but that's not the same width. Oh well, it's going to be not quite the same width. Let's use the fatter of the two ends. Where's my pencil mark gone? My pencil mark's going to be on the back, you stupid woman. Right. So yes, I talked to demo support, Pam. There used to be a trimmer on the market that was not made by us, obviously, but had the same blades, but not anymore. And you used to be able to get those you could get replacement blades, but it's not on the market anymore, unhelpfully. But yeah, I would talk to demo support, but they may ask you for when you bought it. Good luck. And I would also sandbox it, Pam. Say, we need to have replacement score blades. Just realised I've done something really silly. I'm just peeling that up for the moment because I've realised I've done something really, really silly. Because I should have gone, I'm never going to be in the right place, am I? Those aren't the pieces I want. Those are the pieces I want. These are the pieces I want. One of these has to be the right length, otherwise I'm going to be in a pickle. Okay, I'll fudge it somehow. Right, so that's going to go there. That's going to go there. Okay, so those bits are about the right length. It's these bits that are wrong. Right, okay. So, I'm going to stick my short bits down, and then I'm going to do some trimming on my longer bits. Because I suddenly realised that I've stuck this down without the end falling off the end, if that makes any sense. What I wanted was to have something to abut to, and I didn't. So that's got to go under there, and then I'm then going to have to trim this piece down. So learn from my mistakes. So that's going there. This piece, hopefully I can trim down. Should probably use my sticky scissors. Not enough. Just need a hair of a smidge more off. So this is me making a mistake, so you can learn from my mistake. It was deliberate, you understand. That's better. Right, so basically what I should have done is fit everything dry. It was your first purchase? Oh well, I think it's a warranty thing. May well be, Tina, yes. Crafty girls always make it work. Yes, quite. Right, so I'm going to stick this piece down next. Having got this one right, everything else should fall in place. Famous last words. This is where I discover it's not long enough. It's fine. It's gonna work. I'm just gonna trim something down. It's going to be fine. As you say, crafty girls always make things work. So this is not quite long enough. So I'm going to pop this one down so that it's vaguely straight. There we are. See, this is what I was actually intending to do. And then, because this isn't long enough, I'm just going to trim the edge, which of course you could do anyway. And actually, that's not quite long enough either. So I'm basically just going to trim all of the edges so that we get a nice, clean finish. And I'm only taking the slightest smidge, even to the extent that that was nothing, but it's right up to the end. And it doesn't matter because we're not using measurements. Is it possible that you have the decorative pines dies? If I have, Pam, I would have the stamps as well, and I wouldn't split them, because then I would sell them as a bundle. Certainly to begin with, I would sell them as a bundle. But I don't know, is the answer to your question, because I did my alphabetizing quite some months ago, and I honestly don't know what I've got now. So these I'm going to have crossing in the middle, and I'm going to put the one with the extra colours on top. So I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back. But if I have them as a standalone, which I think is unlikely, I will let you know, Pam. But I won't split bundles unless they don't sell otherwise. It's my rule. Right, so I'm going to put dimensionals all the way on this one, because this is going to go straight down. But this one I'm going to obviously be leaving some gaps, because I say obviously, it's not obvious. Because as one's going to go over the other, I need it to not have dimensionals everywhere. It is one of the items booted out from your order. Oh, sorry. Hello, Sam. So that's going to go there. And then that's going to go there. In fact, we're going to take that one slightly over the edge. And then I'm going to do the insides. Because I'm going to do the insides. Because we're using up scraps. So I'm going to do the insides of these cards with scraps. Now it's pure coincidence that this red bit is about the right size. let's just get that out there. Right, let's just do some snipping. That should be about right. So we'll have that there, and we'll have that there, and then I need another piece there. Yep, and then one across the top, and we should be about right, I think. Yes, hurrah, hurrah. Now, just for belt and braces, I'm going to add a little bit of glue there. Ooh. Come on. There we are. Right, insides. So we need more liners. So I've got, coincidentally, 3 pieces. So first piece. Nope. Nope. But we have got this piece. So let's use that. So this will be the liner for this card, obviously. Ooh. No, I'm going to use the same pattern as the one on the outside. Pop it on my grid paper so that I can get this vaguely straight. I'm just going to leave that to do its thing before I trim it down. Then we need some of this, which I'm going to trim. Should have some of, oh, and I need that as well. What else have I got floating around on my desk? No, that's what I need. That or that. Oh, let's use that. It's quicker. So again, I'm going to use the Pacific Point. And again, I just want a sliver, so I've just abutted that against the edge of the ruler. I'm going to do the same with this. Go a little bit wider for that one. So those are the 2 that I'm using. Those are more scraps. That's that. Last piece. Then I can trim and stick on the inside of my cards. Watch me put the wrong piece on the wrong piece. Hello, Kathleen. I'm about to finish, but you're catching the end of me. And then, of course, you can watch back later. But lovely that you're here. Right, okay, so let's do them in the order in which I cut them. Let's get rid of that to begin with, because I don't need it. Do not like Tombow on the back of white card, because I can see a shadow if I do. Right, so that's 1. 2. Oh, it's on the floor. Never mind, I need to hoover the floor anyway, because it looks like a disaster zone. Cannot tell you the number of bits of dimensional backing that are on my floor. They are everywhere. Every time I move anything out of one of the cupboards, it seems to have a dimensional backing attached to it. Right, okay, so so we're using scraps for those of you who have joined late, and by late I don't mean late, I mean recently, and I'm not measuring so much as just dry fitting, so there won't be measurements per se. It's just I've done this. This one I should probably have taken the strips all the way so they were abutting rather than having the gap. I don't mind the gap. I'm not at Bank Station, so I don't have to mind the gap. That's a very London-based comment. Right, last one. Oh, which went the other way, of course. Oh, that's all right. We'll have it down the right-hand side. It'll look fine down the right-hand side. I forgot this one was short and fat. It doesn't matter. Oh, I might just get to the end without having to replace my thing. Phew! I haven't added any embellishments, but obviously those can be added. So those are today's cards using up scraps. Phew! Should always mind the gap. Absolutely. Bank Station in London always says, mind the gap between the train and the platform edge. But hello, Barbara. We're just finishing up, having overrun slightly. So, in order, this was the boughs of holly, fussy cut bit in the middle, and the flocked vellum. That was the word I was looking for. And because I forgot it was short and fat, I've gone that way. Thank you, Kay. Then we did gnomes with a deer in the middle. And then we did candy canes. So all using up just 1-inch strips of paper and some bits to fussy cut. So I hope that's given you some ideas. I mean, it's an idea rather than some ideas. But it's amazing what you can do with just a few scraps. Thank you. So if you have enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. I'm actually going to flip the camera up. If I can find my mouse, where have you gone? There we go. So let's go up and I can see what you're saying. Thank you, everyone. So yes, if you've enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. If you wish to share, you can do that as well. That would be lovely. If you're watching the replay, questions, comments below the description bar. If you're in the UK and you want any products, UK, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium or the Republic of Ireland, and you need any products, I would be thrilled if you would try out my customer service. Oh, and we're just in time to get rid of our little troll. So let's do a quick report for that report. And as if by magic, she should go away. Isn't it just... There was me thinking I got away with it today. And I haven't. I must be doing something right. Report. I will catch up with your... Sorry, I've got pornography or sexually explicit material. You like the red and green ones the best. Excellent. Thank you, Sherry. I'm glad you've reported them too. As I say, I must be doing something right that they feel that it's worth trolling my YouTube channel. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. As I say, if you've enjoyed it, a thumbs up is always appreciated. By all means, if you've come on more recently, it should be available for replay shortly. I will change the heading so that it will say live replay. And I will change the slide as well, so that will say replay, so you know it's not live. Have a fantastic rest of your week. I will be back. I promise it will be a proper Simple Stamping Saturday on Saturday. Until then, I will hopefully see you then. Otherwise, look after yourselves, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Bye for then. Till then, bye-bye. She says, trying to find her end screen. It's like I don't know what I'm doing.